If you ever found yourself thinking, maybe I should start running, and then immediately a second voice kicks in and says, but I'm not a runner. I'm too old for this. People are going to look at me and think I'm crazy. You know what? Running just seems miserable. That second voice you have in your mind is lying to you. And I don't mean that just to motivate you. I mean, there's actual evidence, real things people say on the internet, real science that prove these thoughts are just myths. So let's walk through 3 of the biggest ones. 3 reasons why people who are in their 30s talk themselves out of running, and why every single one of them fall apart when you actually look at it with the right lens. There's a reason I wanted to look at what people actually say, not what generic advice online says. I want to look at what regular people sitting on their couch thinking about running, because that's where the real fears live. And my goal here isn't to convince you to run a marathon. And certainly I'm not trying to make running some big, serious thing you need to pick up. My goal is to show you that the stuff that's stopping you from building a running habit, the fears, the myths you have in your mind, they're common, ridiculously common. I want to show you that there are thousands of other people who have the exact same thoughts that you have, but they still decide to start running. And if they can do it while having the same thoughts, why wouldn't you? And you have me as well. I'm here as someone who once collapsed my lung and was told by a doctor to be careful with my lungs. And since then, I started running 2 years ago when I was 33, and I've been able to create a healthy running habit. I'm going to show you what evidence I found online, what real people say, and experience on how I face these adversity myself. Let's get started. Myth number 1. Serious runners are too serious for me. I want to start here because this one is sneaky. It's not, I can't run. It's, I don't want to become one of those people. The ones who obsess over pace and post Strava screenshots on their social media. The ones who report on every kilometers they run and personal records they broke like it's their second job. Here's what I found when I went looking. On Reddit, in the running subreddit, there's a thread with over 250 comments where people share their misconceptions about running. One person wrote that they used to look out the window during their commute and shake their heads when they see a runner and think to themselves, I would never be one of those people. Then they become one. Another thread from someone looking for a casual run club in Singapore. They were searching for clubs with pacing at 7:30 to 8 minutes per kilometers. They were looking for a group that runs slow and easy. And they said, all the ones I've seen so far are with really fast pacing. But here's what happened in the comments. Dozens of people reply saying, that's most running clubs. Most people are just showing up. The fast ones are the minority. They are the loudest. So let's talk about the actual word here, serious. I think we need to demyth what serious actually means in this context. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being serious about something. Being serious means you're committed to a thing you deeply care about. The problem is we confuse being serious about things that doesn't mean anything versus being serious about things that do. And a lot of people run because of their health. And health, that's something we all agree is worth caring about. So what's wrong with being serious about taking care of your health? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Here's another perspective. The serious runner stereotype that you have in your head, that's likely the runners who you see online. Ones who have already been running for a long time, or ones who have run marathons and chased for a specific pace, including the one that says, this is my first one, or this is my first time running. In reality, there's so many types of running out there. The majority of runners in this world are just people who just keep showing up. They're the ones who just run in silence with their own goals. They're not trying to get attention from the internet. And most importantly, you are the one who decides what running means to you. And you certainly don't need any external reasons to run or share the same goals as others who run for their own reasons. If you want to run and you have your own meaning behind it, you just do it in your own way. Myth number 2, Running feels terrible, so it's not for me. Now for this one, I'm not going to sit here and tell you running doesn't feel terrible sometimes. It does, and to some, most of the time. The mistake is that you think that feeling terrible means you're doing it wrong, and that running isn't for you. There's a thread on Reddit on beginner running subreddit. Someone says, how long did it take before running actually started to feel good? In the main running subreddit, one of the most poetic and funny comments I've ever had, someone wrote, I thought running sucked. Then it turned out I was wrong. Then it turned out I was wrong about being wrong. Then it turned out I was wrong being wrong about being wrong. That's the thing about running you won't truly understand until you start picking up the habit. The emotional up and downs, the self-doubt because running feels hard all the time. There's always a gap. The period between when you start running at a certain pace and when it actually feels good. And everyone, literally everyone, go through it. I call it the fun gap. And here's the reframe I want you to sit with. Building a running habit is not about getting more comfortable. Nothing comfortable in life produces changes. If you want something, whether it's better health, more energy, a clearer mind, you have to go through something uncomfortable to get it. What running actually builds is your tolerance for being uncomfortable. Think about the gym. Nobody walks into the gym and says, oh, the weight feels comfortable, I love this. You lift weights because it's uncomfortable. And that discomfort is the signal that something is changing. Running is the same idea. Running at the same pace you ran 6 months ago, that will eventually feel easy. And by then, you're probably pushing for a faster pace, a longer distance, something new. So there is always another new level of discomfort. So the question isn't, why does running always feel terrible? The question should be, is this kind of terrible that's building something I'm chasing for? Or is it the kind of terrible that's overworking my body? Most of the time, when you feel terrible and you push through, it usually changes in the positive direction. When you're in the fun gap, feeling terrible is part of it. That's a sign you're exactly in where you're supposed to be. Now there's a caveat. Always running at the pace that makes you feel terrible all the time doesn't mean it's good. You can put yourself at risk for injuries, and you can accidentally make yourself too tired all the time. That was a mistake I made and the lesson I have to learn as well. I'm not going deep on these as I've already covered in other videos about this. If you're interested in knowing more, you can check out my other videos after this. Myth number 3, running will destroy your knees. All right, this is the one where I have to get to bring science, because unlike the other 2 myths, which live in our head, this one people pass around like it's a proven fact. Oh, you run? Say goodbye to your knees. So I went and actually looked at the research, and there are overwhelming amount of articles online that tells a different fact. Stanford Medicine published a paper in 2023 in the Orthopedic Journal of Sports Medicine. They're finding recreational runners have a knees and hips osteoarthritis prevalence that is 3 times lower than that of sedentary non-runners. 3 times lower. The US Department of Veterans Affairs published research concluding people who pursue running as a leisure activity do not increase the risk of knee osteoarthritis. And in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in 2022, there's a paper literally titled Running Myth, Recreational Running Causes Knee Osteoarthritis. The title of the paper tells you the conclusion. If running actually strengthens your knee, then why does this myth exist? Well, there's one nuance here. Dr. Michael Fredrickson from Stanford Sports Medicine says, you need to get fit to run rather than run to get fit. This becomes even more important after the age of 50. What that means is that if you're starting with 0, build some conditioning first. Strengthen your hips and core. Don't go from couch to running 5K in 1 week. But that's not a reason to avoid running. That's a reason to start smart. Here's the truth of the myth hides. The real risk to your joint isn't running. The real risk is doing nothing, being sedentary, letting the muscles around your knee get weak. Running, when you're built into it properly, strengthens everything around the joint. It's protective. The science is not ambiguous on this. The myth persists because people know someone who got injured running, and they assume running costed. But when you look at why people get injured, it's usually too much too soon, or they have bad running form. They skip strength work, not because running itself is destructive. So no, running itself will not destroy your knees. Sitting on the couch for 30 years, that might. And when you build the scaffolding properly, your knees will appreciate that you run. So here's where we land. 3 myths, 3 lies that keep people from starting. First lie, running are too serious. Running is a motion, not a speed. Most runners are just people who keep showing up. Second one, running feels terrible. That's the fun gap. Discomfort isn't a stop sign, it's the signal that you're building something. And last one, running destroys your knees. The science says the opposite. Running protects your joint. With the right scaffolding, it helps you, not damages you. But here's the bigger point I want to leave you with. All these myths exist because we compare ourselves to some version of running that isn't real. We imagine the marathoners, the ultra marathoners, the people who are doing 5 marathons in 5 days. That's not running for 99% of the runner in this world. A healthy runner habit is whatever fits your life, your body, and where you're at right now. And if walking is part of it, walking counts. If you have to stop to catch your breath, that counts. If you run twice a week and that's all you can manage, that's also count. All of these myths fall apart when you start comparing yourself to a version of running that was never meant for you. You just need to find the version that is. My name is Felix. I'm just another runner who once confused about what running means to me. Now I'm here to share my experience after figuring things out one run at a time. In the next video, I'm going to show you one of the biggest mental battles you have to go through in your running journey and how you can handle them effortlessly. If this video helped you see running a little differently, share what myth you have been carrying around and drop in the comment. I'll see you on the next one.